What's up guys, it's Alpha here, and today I'm going to be bringing you my most requested video, which is a settings as well as tips and tricks video for Valorant. I'm going to try to keep this under about 10 minutes, but it's going to be pretty hard to make a fully comprehensive guide of Valorant, or at least the way I play Valorant. So I'm probably going to miss a lot of stuff, which is, yeah, it's highly possible I'm going to miss a lot of stuff. So if I miss anything, please let me know if there's anything that I missed or anything that you guys think is important. Also, if you have any questions about anything I say, want me to elaborate more, feel free to DM me. I'd be happy to talk to you. So yeah, basically I'm just going to get to that. And for the first part, I'm going to go over some tips and tricks. So my mentality for the game, which is I think really important and often overlooked. I'm going to go over, as I said, my mentality, my mechanics, and then game sense, which are three important aspects to master in Valorant in order to become a good player. So the first part of this whole video is going to be your mentality, which, as I said before, it can be an aspect of the game that is overlooked a lot. So throughout your time playing Valorant, you have to have a good mindset. So the most important thing is that you can only control how you play, and you can only control what your teammates do to a certain extent. So you kind of have to hold yourself accountable for everything you do. And I've kind of realized that a lot with myself, because I complain a lot about ping, and that's out of my control. And so I should instead being focused on things that I can control. Like if I'm on bad ping, I can play more passive angles or things like that. And on top of that, you want to make sure that you have good mental well-being. So like, this kind of sounds cheesy, but like getting outside of it before you go into like a long session of playing Valorant can really help you to be more focused as well as energized. And when I have like a big game or a tournament coming up, I like to keep that in the back of my mind for a few days before and focus on it and really like think about what I want the outcome to be. So that helps as I'm coming up to it to help motivate me to play the best as possible. And I mean, at the end of the day, like after I play Valorant for a long time, I think back over the day that I played, and I'm just thinking of like my best moment or play, thinking about my positioning and what made it so I could get that good play, as well as moments that I really messed up in and what would have prevented that situation. And this level of outside knowledge of the game, taking the game to another level, is what separates players whose skill level will plateau and stay at the same for a long time versus those who get better very quickly. I mean, that's basically all I got for mentality. I'm going to go ahead and move on to mechanics, which includes crosshair placement, things like that, counter strafing. This will be brief because I think a lot of people already know this, but it'll just give you a few tips to practice this better. So we're going to start off here with crosshair placement, which is what a lot of people know is keeping your crosshair always at head height. So like if someone were to walk around this corner right now, I would be ready. I'd just be able to shoot their head. And I think that would be, since there's lip, it would be just around right here. So the hard part about this is you think, hey, yeah, it's easy to do once someone gets right here. But the discipline to keep your crosshair at this height at all times. And while many people have mastered it, it definitely does take a while to master. And if you look through some of my clips, you'll see sometimes especially when I know someone's not next to me, I'll get a little bit lazy with my crosshair placement. And like I'll start to look down a bit. If I'm looking around for like a gun on the ground or something, I'll be looking down at the ground, which isn't all that good because someone could just hop out of nowhere. So a good way to practice this is you can either full run or just walk around the training map even and just go around each corner, staying at head height, picking corners like that, keeping everything always at head height. So just walk around, keep doing this. You can do this like 10-15 minutes a day. I know it sounds like a lot, but if you're struggling with this and you need to get it down, just keep it at head height. Walk around the whole map. Like check corners just like you would, staying at height. So when you check corner, don't go down like this. Swing around the corner just like you would. Keep it at head height. Things like that. Always keep your crosshair up there. Also, another important thing, when you're holding an angle like this and you know someone's coming, instead of holding the angle, like, okay, let me choose a different one. So like this one right here. If you know someone's gonna walk around this corner, instead of holding the angle right here, you're gonna want to like end up holding the angle like right about here, Because if you think about it, if someone's sprinting through here like this, someone runs across, you're going to have to fully track this person across while spraying to headshot them. But if you go here and they're full sprinting, chances are they'll keep running straight into your crosshair and won't have time to react to you, but you'll have time to react to them and shoot without having to track their head across. And the same goes for if you hear them running. If you know they're walking around the corner, you can hug it a little closer, maybe like right here, especially if you think they might be crouching. But if you hear them full running, it's good to give it a few feet of space around the edge of the wall, just in case, because you know they're going to come running around this corner. So that's an important part of this. So the next mechanic that we can move on to is counter strafing, which is a technique that first, or I don't know exactly where it first came from, but it's very prevalent in Counter-Strike. Basically, the idea of it is being able to be very mobile while still getting accurate shots. So instead of anytime you're seeing someone just like stopping and crouching and shooting, it's a way to stay on the move with your shots being accurate. And the way that you do this, there's two separate ways that you can do it. But the main purpose of it is when you're moving to one side, you press the other key to cancel it out. So if I'm holding A, then I press D, like that. And you can hold both at the same time to just stop and then let go again, and then stop, and let go again. You can either do that, or you can go like this, and then let go of this one and tap the other one, and then shoot like right when you're in that limbo when you stop, so like that. And it'll be accurate. So there's the two kind of different types. I tend to do this one where I stop like that, because you can usually get in a few more shots, and I like to do it more accurate because it doesn't have to be as perfectly timed as the other counter strafe like that one, because that one's just a little harder to do for me. But yeah, that's basically the main types of counter strafing, and there's a good way to practice that by like putting it on training, just like this, and practice, and put like a sage wall like right here or something. And then practice, just like say, pretend this is the edge of the sage wall. Like practice peeking around the corner and shooting people. So like you see one there, like you see one like that, you know. Practicing that on the edge of the sage wall here. And that'll help your counter strafing a lot. And it's really useful because you can peek around a corner and get back around the same corner in a matter of seconds before the enemy can react to you even being there. So that's very useful. Make sure that you don't like waste too many bullets if you're shooting a few and you're missing all of them. Don't shoot more than like 10 bullets or something before you dip back around the corner, because if you miss those, you're kind of screwed at that point. So you just got to be careful for that. And when you're making like full rotations and you happen to be going across like mid or something on like a scent, like say I know someone's holding, or there might be someone there, like there's people on site, just be safe and just bunny hop across, you know, because I've seen so many people just run across and just get offed in the face. It's a simple thing, but just adding that extra little, making it harder to hit, sort of. If you don't know how to bunny hop, you can just bind your jump button to scroll wheel down. Basically just spam it every time you get near the ground. You can perform bunny hops that way. I'm pretty sure it doesn't actually give you a speed boost like it did in CS, but it's still useful and very useful to evade people shooting at you. It also opens up possibilities for like if someone's holding that angle with an op or something, then I can go like this and go back to like bait out the op shot. So I'd go like this, they'd see me, go like that, and then back, counter strafe, things like that. Opens lots of possibilities. And what distinguishes a player that's not learning very well from a player that's really good is their ability to chain all of these mechanics together into their playstyle. So instead of just focusing on one thing, like, oh, I'm going to do counter strafing, like focusing everything together, like crosshair placement, counter strafing, everything there is, like burst firing, everything you can do to become a better Valorant player. Well, the next thing I'm going to talk about is game sense. Now, game sense is probably the hardest of the three things that I've talked about to improve on, because it kind of just comes with time. But that being said, one of the easiest ways to help you improve at game sense is to watch pros play. So whether that's like someone like Defran or like Scream. Scream's really good, he has an insane aim. Even watching pros like what do you call it? Well, like Wardell, and even former Apex pros like Asu. Like you can learn something from everybody. The T1 boys are also really good. Brax, a lot of former CS pros like Kiko, all of them, they're quite talented and they're really good to watch to improve on your game sense. When you're rotating out of a site, so say you're on like bind and you're rotating to B site, it's always good to leave one or two players on the other site unless you have um, full proof that the entire team is going to that site and you see the spike there and they've overcommitted and are like on the site, or you can like they're all pushing or something. Because if say you like, because a lot of times people I play with in unrated or whatever be like they're all here, rotate, rotate, and then like our team rotates over and then they just go to the other site because we all rotated. So like it's always good to leave at least one or two people behind to listen and give recon, see if the other team comes back. Um, this brings up also the different roles of the agents in Valorant, with entry and lurking and support. So entry characters like Phoenix and Reyna, um, they provide the attack initiative at the front. Um, you guys probably all know all this, but I'm kind of going the long way around to a topic. Lurkers kind of get intel and watch the flanks if a team pushes up, like watches their back. Um, and support always stays in like the middle of the team. So if you're playing Sage, this is pretty self-explanatory, but again, I see a lot of Sages doing stupid stuff and running away from their team. Stay where you have your most teammates with you. So same with like Brimstone, like you want to be the character that's always with your team so you can facilitate pushes and be there to like smoke out a site or drop a wall or heal someone. The other thing about this, some characters have like flexible positions, what they could play. Like for example, you could even use like Breach as a lurker, and I actually have a few clips of that. If you feel like you're like if you feel like you're locked to a role based off of your character, it might be a good idea to try playing like more passive. Like say if you're really bad at entry fragging, you could try playing a little bit more passive with your character, and that just might work with the 5 stack that you play with because you have someone else who's on a defensive character that plays offensive. So you kind of just have to get a feel for everything and see what is needed game to game in the 5 stack that you're playing with. On top of this, a good game sense skill is learning what is wallbangable. So most corners of walls are wallbangable by high penetration guns like Vandal. The corners of these are usually wallbangable. A lot of stuff is wallbangable with op, like more than you'd expect. And you can learn certain angles or like places to wallbang. You can look them up on YouTube. I think there's a YouTuber called Valorant Joker who does a lot of good wallbang spots that are really useful to know. I've gotten a few kills with them myself, and they're insane. But definitely look those up. Those are help with your game sense a lot. I know this is getting to be a pretty long video. I said it would be under 10 minutes, but it's looking more like 15 or 20, so I'm sorry. But I'm gonna move on to my settings next here. We got for my sensitivity, I play a 0.47. I usually put 0.46 and 800 DPI. It's what I've played on for about a little less than a month at this point. When I started this game off, I was playing at 0.95 800. I had no clue what to do. So don't make the same mistake as me. Even if you think you have good aim, just play lower sensitivity. It will help you. You'll be able to hit everything. Like if you think you're good on high sensitivity, just give it a bit on low sensitivity and you will become insane. It's so beneficial. My general settings don't really matter. Controls, I have everything the same except for I have like inspect rebinded to T or something like that, and my ping rebinded. For my crosshair, the settings are right here. I use green yellow, outlines off. My outline opacity is 0.856. Thickness, you can see all this. Feel free to pause it anywhere you want. This is the stuff that matters right here, so if you want to get any of this, it's a nice small crosshair. It's really precise. Yeah, I love it. Good crosshair. These are my video settings. It's basically based off of what graphics card you have. So you want to do it. Usually you just limit your background FPS to 30 or something. Just do whatever you want here. I actually play on 1680 by 1050, which is it's an interesting res. I like it. It's a little bit stretched, You can't really tell in my clips though because I re-stretch it or I compress it, I guess, to get back to 1920 by 1080 or like fix the aspect ratio. Um, my graphics quality, everything is on low for the best FPS. Anti-aliasing off, anti-isotropic on 2x. Stats just have FPS and ping on. Yeah, that's basically it. I think that's all you need to know for settings. A good training is just to do this on bot armor on. Always make sure this is on. Eliminate 50, infinite ammo on, and just go through this. And you can implement everything like counter strafing, everything you learn to in this video to help you out. And if you practice this for like 15 minutes a day or right before you play games, it'll help you so much. Like this made me so much better, even just doing the range. And you can also do things like aim lab. And yeah, so if you have any questions, please let me know. And go get the grind on. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody's growth in this game and seeing where this game goes. And so yeah, I'm gonna be out of here. Thank you guys for watching everything. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know down in the comments or in my DM. I'll be happy to answer them for you. I just wanted to cover some stuff that people ask me all the time. This is most frequently asked things. People will DM me, be like, hey, how do I get better at this? How do I fix crosshair placement? Look at my clips, what can I fix? And a lot of times it'll be like crosshair placement. That's one of the main things, people looking at the ground. But this will improve everything. And for all the people out there that use specters, because it's really hard to aim with a vandal, after watching this and implementing everything with your aim and crosshair placement and lowering your sensitivity and training every day, you'll be able to use the vandal very well. And before I go, love you all. Peace.